Good evening and welcome to Arizona Horizon. I'm Ted Simons. The recently completed state legislative session resulted in a number of laws that will impact the business community and consumers. And for a rundown of some of these new laws, we welcome Alexis Glasscock, an attorney at Fenimore Law. Good to have you here. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Ted.
Yeah, good to see you. Okay, bills impacting businesses and consumers. Were there more or fewer this session?
Probably on par, about the same. There were some really good wins for the business community, that's for sure.
Okay, I want to get to some of the, I'm going to start with Chase Field because I don't think people realize that is a big deal in a variety of economic ways. Talk to us about this.
So really exciting, Ted. Basically, Arizona is able to retain the World Series champion baseball, the Diamondbacks team, and for the fans and for businesses downtown and the state in general, for tourism, this is a huge win.
Okay. The critics will say, though, that the research doesn't bear that out. Does the research bear that out? Because we keep hearing that, and yet we also hear it doesn't really make that much of a difference.
It makes a huge difference because Arizona is positioned trying to attract businesses from all over the country. And having a solid sports team here like the Diamondbacks, they almost won 2 years ago. There was great community spirit. Everybody was so excited. It does attract businesses, and it helps with a decision when they see the business community really supports their home teams. They want to have that when they relocate. And we see so many companies now moving to Arizona.
This redirects tax revenue to the stadium district, which the money then goes to the team. Again, I'm going to talk about what critics are saying because I think they got a point here. Now, you got a very rich owner. You got a lot of rich going on here. Why are taxpayers paying for this?
So what's really great here is the public-private partnership, and the state is going to put in about 20 to 25 million a year. But the team itself is also going to have they're going to bear the heavier part, and they will. In the past, they spent 250 million. They're now going to the total cost for these repairs is going to be about 500 million. So they're going to have significant investment. They'll have to finance that investment. But it will go to the average fans who are going to get to come in and now have air conditioning, which was really sort of lacking, especially in July and August. And then also during the spring, the roof will be able to open while there are people in the stadium. Another big win. They're going to put up a brand new state-of-the-art scoreboard. So those kinds of things and those upgrades to the facilities will cause more people to come downtown and see the new stadium and see the team.
Last point on this. I know that it's adjusted for inflation, so that kind of plays with the numbers a little bit there. The governor agrees with you. She thinks this is a great idea. The county, the city of Phoenix, not so much. What do you tell those who say that we shouldn't be paying for this kind of stuff?
Well, I think in the long run, it comes back to the Arizona taxpayers because ultimately what happens is it creates new businesses downtown. They also, what part of their plan is to bring in a hotel, more retail down there. So that grows the area, more apartments, more housing. All of that helps to really energize the Phoenix economy downtown. So I think it's a big win for Arizona in the long run.
All right, another law here, and you're going to have to explain this one to me here. Litigation financing and consumer protection, where the litigation financier can't info. What am I talking about?
So interesting. So this is really a law that was passed to create more fairness because third-party financiers can come in and they can finance a plaintiff's litigation against a business or other defendants. And as a result, the party that is defending it is up against a bigger hurdle because of the amount of money. But the good thing about this bill is it puts in certain requirements so that it tempers the ability of the third-party financier to just control the litigation and cause the business to have insurmountable obstacles.
What kind of controls? Because if I want to go against Mr. Big over here and I need help with finances, what is now limited to me? So
what the third party, they cannot, and I'm just going to refer to them as that, they cannot go out and either give a referral fee to a lawyer, a law firm, or a healthcare provider for them to send a client to them. But also, as the financier, they can have no say in the selection of a lawyer, change of counsel, expert witnesses, or any type of litigation discussion strategy. And there's teeth in this, Ted. If the Attorney General, who oversees the Arizona Consumer Protection Act, sees that files a suit because thinks there's a violation, it's a $10,000 penalty for every violation. So one email, one text is easily asking about the status.
So the idea is your money's okay. You're a financier. This is what you do, but don't be messing around with the other stuff.
That's it, exactly. If it's going to come in, they want to be able to have a fair playing field for businesses to defend and develop a strategy against them.
All right, business personal property tax extension went from $207,000 to $500,000.
Right.
That's got to be a big win for business.
That's a huge win for business, and what that's going to allow is it'll have a multiplier effect in terms of generating more revenue in the economy. Because as those businesses go out and buy more products, because they can now deduct it, whether it's supplies or materials, hopefully a lot of that will be supplied by Arizona businesses, and so it'll go back into the economy.
So capital, as you mentioned, capital renovations and improvements and these sorts of things. From 207 to 500, what was the reasoning behind these numbers in the first place?
I think it's really just the fact that they wanted to get to a point where there's a significant impact and more businesses are going to be attracted to that tax benefit when they're locating here.
All right, let's get back to athletics. NIL regulations for student athletes. Schools can't penalize the athlete? How did that? Could they do it in the first place?
They could do it. For 100 years, the NCAA prohibited any type of compensation of student athletes. And interestingly, in today's Arizona Republic, David McCarville, an attorney, and KJ Russell at Fenimore wrote an article on this exact thing. Yesterday, there was a settlement that became effective in a federal case called House versus NCAA. But almost simultaneous with that, Arizona passed a law just in May stating that state universities can compensate athletes for their name, image, and likeness. Previously, they couldn't do that. So now both the court holding and the state law will allow universities in Arizona to do that, depending on where they fall.
And if I read this correctly, you can't say that the athlete is an employee. Why is that?
That's correct, because they don't want to have them taxed and have all of the implications, all the requirements of an employee. That would take away from some of the funds that are available. Just hiring an employee, as you know, there's a lot of taxes, et cetera, you have to pay. The idea is for the real gain here for Arizona is for our colleges can now go out and recruit state athletes, keep our athletes here that are great, but go to other states and also recruit them to come to our teams here. It puts us more on a level playing field with the Ohio States and the other big teams that can spend, now under this holding, they can spend $20.5 million from their general budget. Any college or university can do that to recruit athletes.
All right, and it has to be the NIL deals. They need to be confidential. Is that true?
They are, and there's a lot of requirements under the court holding, and they have to be. There's actually going to be a clearinghouse, a college sports commission that will look at all of these, and they will actually have Deloitte and another firm verify that it is the fair market value that the student athlete's being paid.
I remember hearing about that one. All right, before you go, this is interesting. Updating the statewide aviation plan. For what? For electric planes?
Yes. And this is really exciting because we're going to be a leader in the country on this type of technology. It's just emerging. And what the bill requires is the Arizona Department of Transportation will work with municipalities, with air carriers, with the FAA to develop a plan so that there's vertiports. And what they are is they're for electric planes that take off vertically and land, kind of like the Jetsons or the Incredibles, like that. And they'll have to be 300 pounds in weight and be able to carry cargo or passengers.
Wow. Who crafted this? How did this thing come up?
So this bill is it's the latest technology, and it was brought to a member of the Senate for the reason that, for Senator Shope, the reason is that this technology is now emerging. There is one company in Florida that's trying to work on it, but Arizona wants to be the leader in it, and it'll allow us to have municipalities that have they're very small structures. They're like a helicopter pad, but they're different because they're electric, and they have charging stations by them. So they'll be able to take off with passengers or cargo and transport them around the valley or the state even.
Well, meet George Jetson, indeed.
Exactly.
Oh, well, all right. I guess we'll see. I guess Arizona wants to get ahead of the parade here, get first in line.
First to develop this technology, a leading technology.
Alexis, great conversation. Always a pleasure. Good to have you here.
Good to be here. Thanks, Ted. Appreciate it.